My colleague Asavri Jindal, she has more inputs regarding how voting is progressing today on the second phase. Let's go straight across to you, Asavri.
Right, absolutely. Uday, thank you so much. Of course, we have all the VIP candidates for all the constituencies over here, starting off with Amroha over here, where, of course, Kunwar Danish Ali of the Congress, Mujahid Hussain of BSP and Kanwar Singh Tanwar of the BJP are contesting. Of course, you can see these are 2019 results over here flashing on your screens. There was, of course, a margin of 63,248 during the 2019 elections for Amroha, the constituency in Uttar Pradesh. Taking a look at Mathura, we have Hema Malini from the BJP contesting, Mukesh Dhangar from the Congress, Suresh Singh from the BSP, who are contesting for the 2024 Lok Sabha elections from Mathura. As far as 2019 is concerned, again, Hema Malini was there. She won by 2 lakh.
Okay, Asavri, I'm just coming back to you in a second. Let's quickly bring in Arzu Seth as well. I'm being told she's joining us live from Ghaziabad. Arzu, what's happening in Ghaziabad? What are the issues there that people are voting on? And has the voting percentage risen through the morning hours steadily?
Well, voters are very excited in Ghaziabad. Right now, we are at the Seth Mukundlal Inter College, and outside that polling booth, the voters are excited and, in fact, showing their mark that they have given the vote. Seems very happy and excited to choose this time their candidate. We will go across the voter also to talk about their issues. Sir, Ghaziabad के क्या कुछ issues हैं और कैसा काम पिछली सरकार का आपको लगा?
मैम, सरकार ने काम तो बहुत अच्छा किया है, बट लोगों की अभी भी ये कुछ परेशानियां हैं, जैसे ट्रैफिक को लेकर। ट्रैफिक कंट्रोल थोड़ा सा प्रॉब्लम है गाजियाबाद में। को ट्रैफिक रूल्स फॉलो तो करते हैं, बट कुछ लोग ऐसे भी हैं जो बहुत स्ट्रिक्टली फॉलो नहीं कर रहे हैं। उसकी वजह से जो कॉमन पीपल है उनको बहुत दिक्कतें हो रही हैं।
ट्रैफिक जैम इज वन ऑफ द इशू ऑफ गाजियाबाद।
आई एम GC तनेजा। सबसे पहले हमें अपने दिमाग से वोट को देना चाहिए। हमारी सीमाओं को कौन सुरक्षित रख सकता है? हमारे पेरेंट्स पाकिस्तान से आए हैं, हमने वो दुख देखा है जिस तरह से कैसे हम लोग यहाँ मरते पिटते आए हैं, हमारे फोर फादर कैसे आए हैं। आज मोदी जी ने हमारी सीमाएं पूरी तरह से सुरक्षित कर दी हैं। पता नहीं कितने ब्रिज बाउंड्री पे बना दिए हैं, कितनी सड़कें बना दी हैं। हमें सबसे पहले वोट उसको देना चाहिए जो हमारी सीमाएं सुरक्षित रख सकते हैं। वो वो केवल एक मोदी जी हैं। और दूसरा सनातन के श्री राम मंदिर, जिसमें हमारे फोर फादर 500 साल से लड़ाई कर रहे थे, किसी सरकार ने नहीं देखा है। रेलवे का इस शासन में जितना बढ़ोतरी हुई है, सड़कों की कितनी बढ़ोतरी हुई है।
मैम, यू सीम्स वेरी एक्साइटेड, बहुत एक्साइटेड लग रही है। आपने वोट डाल दिया है?
अभी नहीं डाला, मेरा तो वोट ही नहीं है, नंबर ही नहीं आया इस बार वोट में।
अच्छा, नंबर नहीं आया, चलिए कोई बात नहीं। लेकिन मूड क्या है इस बार, क्या लग रहा है, किसका काम आपको अच्छा लगा है?
मोदी का, सबसे बेस्ट मोदी।
अच्छा, क्या नई सरकार से क्या उम्मीद है?
मतलब हमें मोदी सरकार चाहिए, हमें नई सरकार नहीं चाहिए।
अच्छा, मैम क्या मुद्दे हैं गाजियाबाद के?
बढ़िया है, अच्छे हैं, मेट्रो की सुविधा है, सब जल्दी आ जाते हैं, पेरेंट्स का इंतजार करते हैं बच्चे।
सेफ्टी को लेकर क्या काम हुआ है? क्राइम, क्योंकि गाजियाबाद क्राइम के लिए जाना जाता था, अब बदलाव हुआ है।
पहले से काफ़ी इम्प्रूवमेंट है, काफ़ी कंट्रोल है, क्राइम के मामले में काफ़ी कंट्रोल है। हाँ,
क्या मुद्दे होंगे मैम इस बार गाजियाबाद में? आप पहुंची हुई हैं, गर्मी बहुत ज़्यादा हो रही है इस बीच भी, लेकिन आप लोग आ रहे हैं जा रहे संख्या में।
मतलब हम तो यही चाहते हैं कि सरकार आगे भी खूब अच्छा प्रोग्रेस करेगी, तो हम तो यही चाहते हैं।
महिलाओं के क्या मुद्दे गाजियाबाद में?
महिलाओं को पहले से काफ़ी अच्छा मतलब रिस्पॉन्स मिला है, काफ़ी
सुरक्षित जा रही हैं, आ रही हैं।
% कर दिया है गवर्नमेंट ने, और महिलाओं की सुरक्षा के नहीं, महिलाओं के लिए इतनी योजनाएं हैं। आप ये देखिए, ये जो 3 तलाक का मुद्दा है, और महिलाओं की इतनी योजनाएं हैं, सुकन्या योजना है, चाहे सिलेंडर की योजना है, आपको शायद मालूम नहीं होगा, लेकिन अभी 2.5 लाख रुपए जो मकान के लिए मिले हैं वही महिलाओं के नाम है। जो नए मकान निकल रहे हैं सरकार की तरफ से, वो भी महिलाओं के नाम है। ये पहली सरकार है जिसने महिलाओं के बारे में कुछ सोचा है।
Okay, so women are happy with the government work. Also, we have the youngsters who have given vote. Show me, have you given vote? Okay, so you seems very excited. क्या इश्यूज हैं, किनको ध्यान में रख के आपने अभी वोट किया है?
बस यही है कि मोदी सरकार ही है, क्योंकि सेफ्टी काफ़ी बढ़ गई है। अब लड़कियां
बिना किसी उससे जा सकती है बाहर। ये नहीं है कि उन्हें डर की कुछ हो सकता है, नहीं हो सकता है। बहुत ज़्यादा सेफ्टी बढ़ गई है, स्कूटी पर ट्रैवल कर सकती है आराम से। और बस यही है कि मोदी
एजुकेशन सेक्टर को क्या उम्मीद है?
एजुकेशन थोड़ी सही हो, एजुकेशन थोड़ी ख़राब है, क्योंकि बहुत ज़्यादा वो होता है कि जो एससी वाले तो होते हैं उन्हें तो सीट आराम से मिल जाती है, और जो सिंपल वाले
आरक्षण खत्म हो, जो बच्चे कहना चाह रहे हैं कि ये आरक्षण खत्म हो।
Okay, so you can heard Uday. In fact, the voters are very excited, and in fact, in this scorching heat, people are coming to vote in the Ghaziabad. You could see, people are carrying umbrella, they are carrying muffler, scarf to, to prevent themselves from the heat wave that is taking place in the Ghaziabad. The temperature is around 38, but people still are coming here to vote. आप लोगों ने वोट डाल दिया? क्या मुद्दे हैं गाजियाबाद के?
पता नहीं, मैं तो
क्या तकलीफें होती हैं? जाम बहुत लगता है आपके?
हाँ, जाम है, रास्ता नहीं मिलता है, बस ऐसे ही होती है, परेशानी होती है, कभी फुटपाथ बंद होता है, कभी कुछ होता है।
तो अभी जो सरकार थी, मौजूदा सरकार भाजपा की, या जो भी सरकार, कैसा लगा उनका?
क्या लगा? कुछ नहीं लगा।
मतलब कोई भी सुविधा नहीं है अभी तो।
मोदी है, लेकिन उनका नाम अच्छा है, लेकिन जो उनसे नीचे नेता है ना, उन्होंने उनका नाम खराब कर रखा है। हाँ, छोटे छोटे लोगों ने, जो छोटे नेता, साक्षी नारायण बन गई, जो पार्षद बनते हैं वो ही कोई ना सुनता।
आप यहाँ के तो वीके सिंह सांसद हैं, उनका काम कैसा लगा?
एक कोई कोटी काम नहीं, कुछ नहीं, अपने जेब बनाते हैं।
आप तक सुनते हैं, उसके बाद कोई नहीं सुनता है।
इस बार न्यू कैंडिडेट उतारा है भाजपा ने, अतुल गर्ग। वहीं कांग्रेस की बात करें तो डॉली शर्मा उतरी हैं। क्या लग रहा है, कैंडिडेट्स कैसे हैं इस बार के?
देखो, अतुल गर्ग तो है ही है, मोदी से बीजेपी तो है ही है, अतुल गर्ग से अच्छा तो
अतुल गर्ग अच्छे हैं।
हाँ जी, हाँ जी।
अच्छा,
और थोड़ी सी मतलब ये जो कॉलोनियों में कूड़ा करकट और डॉगी वोगी जो पोटी करते हैं, ये चीज़ के लिए बहुत जरूरी है सफाई होने के लिए। इसके लिए पेनल्टी जो भी कुत्तों की पोटी करवाते हैं उसके लिए पेनल्टी लगनी चाहिए, जो जगह जगह किसी के घरों के आगे पोटी करवाते हैं।
This is one of the issue. Okay, so you heard the reaction from the youngsters, from the women's, from the men's, and all are saying that the traffic jam is one of the issue of the Ghaziabad since several years.
Right.
It should be sorted out with the
Right, Arzu, continue to track those developments there in Ghaziabad. We'll come back to you to hear more from voters on ground. But Arjuna Meghwal, BJP MP and Union Minister is speaking right now. Let's go live across.
लोगों ने पूछा, आप पैदल चल रहे हो? बोला संविधान श्रेष्ठ है। 2010 सुरेंद्रनगर गुजरात, उस समय तो कोई कल्पना नहीं थी प्रधानमंत्री जी को कि मैं एक दिन प्रधानमंत्री बनूंगा। वो उस समय तो मुख्यमंत्री थे गुजरात के। किसी कांग्रेस के मुख्यमंत्री ने ऐसी यात्रा निकाली है क्या? नंबर 1। नंबर 2, जब 2014 में प्रधानमंत्री बने तो संविधान दिवस 26 नवंबर लागू करके संविधान का सम्मान किया, बाबा साहब भीमराव अम्बेडकर जी का सम्मान किया। नंबर 3, 2019 में जब हम 303 सीटों के साथ आए तो सबसे पहले सेंट्रल हॉल में संविधान को नमन किया। तो जो हमारे प्रधानमंत्री संविधान का इतना सम्मान। अच्छा, मैं एक चीज और बताना भूल गया, लॉ एंड जस्टिस डिपार्टमेंट में हमें एक वर्क दिया गया, तो हम डिपार्टमेंट ऑफ जस्टिस से एक कार्यक्रम कर रहे हैं साल भर का, और उसका कार्यक्रम का नाम क्या है? हमारा संविधान हमारा सम्मान। वो कार्यक्रम पहले दिल्ली में हुआ था, जिसको उपराष्ट्रपति जी ने संबोधित किया या मुख्य अतिथि थे। दूसरा कार्यक्रम रीजनल कॉन्फ्रेंस मेरे बीकानेर में हुई, जिसमें चीफ जस्टिस ऑफ इंडिया के प्रोग्राम क्या? हमारा संविधान हमारा सम्मान। झूठ फैला रहे हैं जी कांग्रेस के लोग। हम समझा रहे हैं ना अभी आपको। और अभी अमित शाह जी का स्टेटमेंट आपने देखा होगा कि संविधान के साथ ये छेड़छाड़ करेंगे सत्ता में आने पे, ये SC ST और OBC का रिजर्वेशन खत्म करेंगे, हम खत्म नहीं होने देंगे, इसलिए हमें मजबूत बहुमत चाहिए। बहुत बहुत धन्यवाद, थैंक यू।
All right, Manohar Kesri also joining us now live from Meerut in Uttar Pradesh. Manohar, what's the situation at the polling booth where you're standing there? Steady trickle of voters continues, or polling numbers slightly dipping now that it's getting to afternoon time and the heat is affecting voting turnout there? And what are the issues also resonating in Meerut? Manohar.
देखिए, बिल्कुल उदय, मेरठ का तापमान 40 के करीब पार पहुंच चुका है। आसमान से अंगारे बरस रहे हैं और यहां पर वोटिंग टर्नआउट की अगर हम बात करें तो धीरे धीरे कम होता जा रहा है। आप देखेंगे दोपहर के करीब 1 से ज़्यादा का वक्त हो रहा है और यहाँ पर देखिए वोटर की संख्या आप उंगलियों में गिन लेंगे 4 या 5 वोटर होंगे। जो वोटर आने चाहिए वो नहीं आ रहे हैं। मैं अगर मेरठ लोकसभा सीट की बात करें, क्योंकि ये क्रांतिकारियों की धरती रही है, वीरों की धरती रही है और 20 लाख से ज़्यादा मतदाता हैं और इसमें सुबह से हमने देखा कई पोलिंग स्टेशन पे हम गए तो वहाँ पर लंबी कतार देखने को मिली, लेकिन गर्मी की वजह से लोग आने कम कर दिए हैं, लोग अभी नहीं आ रहे हैं। हो सकता है सेकेंड हाफ में टर्न आउट करें। अब तक अगर हम 12 बजे की बात करें तो 30% से ज़्यादा का मतदान हो चुका है। यहाँ कुछ लोग हैं, हम सीधे इनसे बात करेंगे। आपने वोट कास्ट कर दिया। सबसे पहले हम किसी पार्टी के बारे में आपसे नहीं पूछेंगे, किसको वोट दिया नहीं पूछेंगे, लेकिन मुद्दे क्या हैं आपके लिए?
मुद्दे विकास के हैं। जो मेरठ में विकास हुआ है और जो आगे विकास होने की संभावना है, जो राष्ट्र के मुद्दे हैं वही मेरठ के मुद्दे हैं।
आप बताएंगे, आपने वोट दिया?
नहीं, करने जा रहा हूँ।
आप करने क्या सोच करके आप वोट करेंगे? क्या है मुद्दे, क्या हैं
मुद्दे? देश का विकास है।
क्या विकास में? क्या
विकास में तो सीधा है बीजेपी, बस।
मुद्दे हैं जी जो हाँ जी, मुद्दे हैं सैम पित्रोदा। हाँ जी, फर्स्ट टाइम नहीं, अभी मैं सेकंड टाइम। जो सैम पित्रोदा ने एक अपना स्टेटमेंट दिया है कि 55% जो वो है वसीयत जो भी होगी वो सरकार ले लेगी, वो बहुत गलत है। ऐसा
मतलब जो इनहेरिटेंस टैक्स की बात हो रही है, विरासत टैक्स, ये मुद्दा बनने जा रहा है आपके लिए?
हाँ जी, वो बहुत बड़ा मुद्दा है। और उससे क्या होगा, जो भी सामान्य वर्ग के लोग हैं, ओबीसी के हैं, पिछड़ी जाति के हैं, तो सबको क्या करा जाएगा, सबका जमीन ले ली जाएगी।
अच्छा, आप बताएं, रुक जाइए, आपने वोट डाल दिया? एक बार फिंगर दिखाइएगा। जो निकल करके ना आए, गर्मी की वजह से लोग कम आ रहे हैं?
नहीं, ऐसा नहीं है। वोट करना तो करना ही है, इसमें गर्मी और सर्दी क्या,
क्योंकि जितनी भीड़ होनी चाहिए उतनी दिख नहीं रही।
हाँ, वो दोपहर की वजह से कम है शायद।
गर्मी ज्यादा पड़ रही है?
हाँ जी, हाँ गर्मी तो।
आपने तो वोट कास्ट किया, क्या सोच करके कास्ट किया है?
सर हमें तो वोट करना ही था, चाहे गर्मी हो या सर्दी हो, वोट सबसे जरूरी है।
आपने वोट डाल दिया
जी?
एक बार फिंगर दिखाइएगा, ऐसे ऊपर करके दिखाइए। हाँ।
ऐसे कर लो सामने।
क्या मुद्दे क्या हैं आपके लिए?
मुद्दे विकास के भी है और सेफ्टी के भी है। हाँ।
और मंगलसूत्र छीनने की बात हो रही थी, क्या ये भी?
नहीं, वो सब खत्म हो गया।
अच्छा, वो मुद्दा नहीं।
हाँ, मोदी योगी का राज है।
अच्छा, ठीक है, और लोगों से बात करते हैं। यहाँ कई लोग जो है सो वोट डाल करके आए हैं। आप लोगों ने वोट डाल दिया है? आप लोगों ने डाला है वोट?
अरे मैं तो 18+ भी नहीं हूँ अभी।
अच्छा, आप 18+ नहीं है, आपने तो बोल दिया। आपने वोट डाल
वोट डालने के लिए खड़े।
क्या मुद्दे आपके लिए?
अभी मुद्दा ये है कि जिस तरह की व्यवस्थाएं बनी हुई हैं, कानूनी व्यवस्थाएं बनी हुई हैं, उससे मन ये रखता है कि हाँ, जो जैसे हम कभी कभार सुनते थे कि बम विस्फोट हो सकता है, कोई अव्यवस्था को, मतलब कोई चीज़ ऐसे ना छुएं, तो वो चीज़ें नहीं सुनाई देती, तो अच्छा लगता है, व्यवस्थाएं ठीक हो रही हैं।
यहाँ भीड़ कम देख रहे हैं, क्या गर्मी की वजह से भीड़ दिख रही है कम?
नहीं, अब थोड़ा गर्मी का माहौल हो गया है, इस समय आदमी थोड़ा रुक के आता है।
आप खुद छांव में?
जी जी जी, तो अब छाँव जब तक व्यक्ति ये सोचता है बाहर निकलता हुआ कि जैसे जैसे थोड़ा मौसम का तापमान थोड़ा कम होगा,
तो कुछ लोग क्योंकि पारा हाई हो रहा है वह नहीं आ रहे हैं, मगर फिर भी ये हाई टेम्परेचर्स के बावजूद कुछ लोग निकल के आ रहे हैं वहाँ मेरठ में। ये बहुत अच्छी बात है और हम यही आग्रह करेंगे सारे दर्शकों से कि आप जाएं, अपना वोट अवश्य डालें। Let me also bring in Kanika Katiyar now from Wayanad. She's joining us from Kerala. Kanika, as far as Wayanad are concerned, what is the issues that you are hearing since the morning? What are the main concerns of voters there? Let's speak to some of them to find out what's on their mind as they come out today to cast their vote.
क्या हुआ सर?
Kanika, can you hear me? Okay, I think we've lost Kanika's connection there. Nibir Deka also joins us live from Nagaon in Assam. Nibir, what's the scenario there in Assam? We can see that constituency where you're standing, a lot of voters still present in the afternoon time. I can see queues behind you, Nibir. Take us through the latest ground report.
Yes, amid the scorching heat, people have still coming out and voting in numbers. The heat has not hindered them to exercise their right to vote, and you can see behind me the ladies are there. There is a language barrier here, so we are going to speak to them in local language to find out. Apna naam bhai do? Kota aise? Ki issue lo ikne apni mane vote di pon hai bichora. Ki bhabi aise? Kiba ki samasya hobe aise? So there is a language barrier here, but the women are saying that they are coming here to vote to exercise their right. Bhai apna naam? আপনার নাম বাইদেউ আপনি हिंदी वो पढ़ रहे हैं पुलिस और हो क्या क्या मुद्दा क्या आपके लिए इम्पोर्टेंट है इसलिए आप वोट देने आए हैं इतना गर्मी में भी आप वेट कर रहे हैं लाइन में हाँ अपना वोट देने का राइट आप एक्सरसाइज करने आए हैं So as you can see here, the women are in the trail here. This is a very remote area in Nagaon constituency, so there is a language barrier. But still, they are saying that they are here to exercise their right. And বাইদেউ আপুনি ভোট দিলে? মানে কেনেকুৱা লাগিল এনে গৰমখন আহিছে একদম? আপোনাক মই হিন্দীত কথা সুধিছো কেঁচা लग रहा है आपको? आप क्या आपके लिए इशू आपके लिए इम्पोर्टेंट है क्या मुद्दा आपके लिए इम्पोर्टेंट है आप इसलिए वोट देने आए हैं लेकिन आए हैं मतलब अपना दायित्व करने आए हैं So you can see here, although they are less vocal about the issues, but they are very clear that they have to cast their vote. This calls you the sense of duty that people have towards exercising the right to vote. And amid this scorching heat, we are seeing that people are here in line since morning. We are also going to show you this cute family here. They are also waiting with their sons and daughter. आपका नाम दादा? आपने वोट दे दिया? अब देखे लाइन में रख रहे हो क्या इशू आपके लिए इम्पोर्टेंट है आप क्या सोच क्या है वोट देने आप बीजेपी को अच्छा लगता है अच्छा लेकिन क्या इशू मतलब क्या क्या अच्छा आपने इसलिए वोट दिया क्या अच्छा काम किया अच्छा रास्ता अच्छा हुआ तो आपके लिए रास्ता इम्पोर्टेंट अच्छा काम हुआ है हाँ यहाँ के जो लोकल मिनिस्टर है पीयूष हजारिका वो भी यहाँ के एमएलए भी है उनके काम में अच्छा हुआ है तो इसीलिए आप वहाँ पे सपोर्ट करें So you can see the road issue is very crucial here. Nagaon has seen its share of bad roads, so people are taking this election, although it's a national election, but they are seeing this election as also a localized issues. Road is very important for them. Development is important for them. We just spoke to a local here who said that road is big concern for them, and that's why they are coming out to vote. The women are still waiting in large numbers, and they are waiting. Ketebar okay se বাইদেউ সকল আধা ঘন্টা রয়েছে গরমত ভোট দিব একো প্রবলেম হোৱা নাই I just still vote দিব কাৰণে so we are asking them that how even amid this scorching heat has the heat hindered them to vote but they are replying in local language in Assamese that though even if it's heat anywhere it's very hot here but they are still coming here to exercise their right to vote so this is the scenario that we are getting you from Nagaon. People are queuing up in numbers. The voting turnout is above 40%, and there is an enthusiasm among the public to cast their vote. Back to you.
Yes, all right. Stay with us, Nibir. Let me also bring in some guests who are joining us now live. Rishi Bagri, political analyst, is joining the broadcast. Rishi, healthy signs there in Assam. We are seeing, of course, despite the afternoon warm weathers, queues not dip. The polling lines, of course, continue there, which is a very healthy sign, and we hope that trend will, of course, continue till the evening. But Rishi, as far as the main factors go, what do you believe have emerged now as the biggest issues, at least up till the second phase of the Lok Sabha election?
I think the biggest issue is definitely Congress is unable to retract the inheritance tax. They are keep on drilling the thing that we want this inheritance tax. They haven't denied it, nor they accepted it. Although they denied some statement by Sam Pitroda, but then they haven't outrightly denied the inheritance tax. And secondly, I mean, all the other videos are also emerging. If you have seen the video, which is a 2009 video of our former Prime Minister, Shri Manmohan Ji, where he is saying that Muslim minorities have the first right of the national resources. I think this is not going to go rightly with the majority committee. So that is one thing which is happening. Somehow Congress is able to polarize the election with all this minorities manifestos, and I think that has actually counter-polarize the majority committee which are coming out in the droughts. So that is the two thing which is happening. And anything, the redistribution of assets is also a very, very, a loony idea, which is, creating a fear in the mind of the common people. So these are the few things which are definitely not going right with the Congress right now. So that is the reason why they were they actually able to, scare the people to come out in masses and come out in the droves despite such a scorching heat, and they are coming and they are pushing the right buttons. So this is what I will say. So I mean, only one need to be blamed is the Congress leadership for coming out with this kind of manifesto and coming out with this kind of looming idea. And then again, you need to also understand there are 2-3 things which we need to see. The kind of, the uncertainty which if Indy coalition get elected, because they haven't yet projected any what you call prime minister. They don't have any policies. They don't have any how they are going to do the future. So all these things are actually, playing in the mind of the people. Nobody wants instability. Nobody wants to have a very, foggy kind of scenario where they don't know what exactly is going to happen. They want the stability. They want a clear vision for next 5 years, a clear stability for the next 5 years. I think that is the one thing which is, again, playing in the mind of the voters. So I think voters are coming, and they are coming for a brighter future for the development, because all the voters you are talking to, they are saying only one thing, that we are coming for our future. We are coming for the development. We want our country to be strong. Now you don't need to you don't need to guess whom they are speaking of and whom they want to give the vote. So this is a very clear demarcation right now, and this is exactly what is happening. Thank you.
Okay, Anshuman Sale, Congress spokesperson, also joining us live. I'm sure you would want to counter that, Anshuman. Your reaction, of course, to what Rishi just said, and what you feel you believe are the main issues that are resonating with the voters, at least up till the second phase of the Lok Sabha polls.
Uday, first of all, I did not know Rishi became political analyst because he is a BJP IT cell member. More or less, I don't want to get personal into it. He spoke a lot of things. He spoke for continuously 4-5 minutes. And all the things he talked of was about the Congress manifesto. So this shows that the 2024 elections, general elections in this country, is all about Congress's manifesto, because after 10 years being in power with absolute majority, the Prime Minister, his leader, everyone is talking about Congress's manifesto and spreading lies. Right now, Rishi spread 2 lies. One was about inheritance tax. We have clearly said it was the Congress which abolished the inheritance tax in 1985, which the Prime Minister mentioned yesterday. He said that Rajiv Gandhi abolished inheritance tax. So one day, on odd days, you want to take votes in the name that Congress want to bring inheritance tax. On even days, you want to say that Congress abolished inheritance tax. So this shows that the Prime Minister, and look at the language of the Prime Minister, look at the language of all BJP leaders and supporters. Right, the way they are speaking, the way they are spreading lies about the Congress's manifesto. Congress's manifesto is very clear document. It has a vision for the country for the next 5 years. It will take the country back on track, which has been off track by the current regime in last 10 years. They have offered nothing to the youth. They have offered nothing to the women. They have offered nothing to the common people of the country. And redistribution is something that, since we have not promised, but let me tell you, it is only those who made money like anything in last 10 years, someone who rose from 639 number in the world, wealthiest person, to the second rank, these are the people who are afraid. It's not the common people. And let me tell you, Uday, the way BJP's war cry of 400 par, 400 par, 400 par has gone down in the villages, it has gone down in the rural areas, it has gone down in the downtrodden, the backwards, Dalits, the tribals, everyone. And Rishi was spreading lies about the minority reservation and all that also. Let me speak on that. That in 1995 it was Deve Gowda who brought all the Muslim castes into OBC in Karnataka, and right now Deve Gowda is a very respected ally of the NDA, JDS, a Parivarwadi party, a corrupt party, is Modi's extended Parivar. So they should think twice. They should learn first what they are speaking, because the thing that they are speaking is totally incorrect. And let me tell you, the 400 par, the thing that I was telling, the way people are queuing up, the way people are speaking out, and the way people are scared in this country that BJP will come and BJP will take back the reservation, BJP will just demolish the reservation, they'll change the constitution. गांवों में, in the villages, गांवों में बात चल रही है, किताब बदल देंगे. So this is the thing that is going on in the villages, and you can move on to any village and you can find this out. And this is why this turnout. And since, see, after 10 years being in power, if someone is only talking about the Congress's manifesto, spreading lies, non-stop lies about the Congress's manifesto. Congress manifesto says this, Congress manifesto says that. So Mr. Modi this time around, after 10 years being in power, is our star campaigner. Because of him, in last 3 days, 42 lakh people have downloaded our manifesto. They are reading it. So I want to thank Mr. Modi personally for that. I want to thank people like my friends like Mr. Bagri, who are spreading Congress's manifesto every day. And because of it, it is going to every household, every nook and corner, and youth are getting to know that we are going to get 30 lakh government jobs when Congress comes into power. Women are getting to know that we are going to get 1 lakh annually if Congress comes back to power. The youth are going to know, they are coming to know that Congress will give them guaranteed first job. So this is something that is going down everywhere. So I want to thank Mr. Modi personally. I want to thank friends like Bagri.
So it's the Congress's manifesto promises that Anshuman believes is connecting with the voters. Your response to that, Vinita Hariharan, BJP spokesperson. Also, Anshuman making the point that there is fact-checking needed because BJP is propagating lies.
Yes, so first of all, what Anshuman was constantly talking about BJP again, and not the Congress and what the Congress has to offer to the country in the next 10 years. So what we would look at offering the country and what to go above what we've already offered. The last 10 years, we have stabilized the country. We have done the saturation of amenities, the basic amenities, the infrastructure, the digital amenities. Now we're going to go the step forward. We're going to go the next level of prosperity. That is what we're going to offer the country. Stability, sustainability, sustainable development, which is an agenda which has been so, which is a key agenda of the Modi government the last 10 years. We've surpassed our COP26 commitments. So we're going to go forward on that. We're going to go with green energy. We're going to go for a green, clean India, which is what we're offering the citizens of India, and with equitable distribution of wealth. That is what we believe in, welfare economics combined with market economics. And we would be working towards reducing inefficiency in all fronts. Inefficiency may be the public sector or the other sectors. We're going to be reducing inefficiency. We're going to be bringing in efficiency, which we've already done over the last 10 years. In the governance, in the ministries, in the public sector departments. So many of our departments before 2014 in the Ministry of MSME, for example, was a dead ministry before 2014. It was after Modi government came that we've revitalized the entire department. We have infused new energy. We've brought in the, CGT MSC, the credit guarantee programs, and we've infused so much. We have done the direct benefit transfer to not only to MSMEs, but also to all the beneficiaries of the government programs. All of this has been implemented by the NDA government over the last 10 years, and the people know it. And the kind of, what is seen on the ground is the basic amenities, which has outreach, which has reached so many people across the country, starting from sanitation, the houses, the water. All of that has been provided the last 10 years. We went to aspirational districts and we went to aspirational blocks, and now we're going to be increasing our coverage of aspirational districts and blocks and looking at saturating everybody in India with at least basic amenities along with basic social and economic amenities. And in terms of livelihoods, we have already seen what the Prime Minister's agenda has been. It is to create enterprises of those who have the appetite for enterprises. So create a facilitating environment, ecosystem for MSMEs, facilitating ecosystem for the startups. So we have seen about more than 1 lakh startups now today from 315. That was the figure in 2014. Now we have about more than 1 lakh startups in India today. And we have about 100 unicorns. We plan to increase the number of unicorns. So all of this is the package that the Modi government would be giving for the next 10 years. And I'm sure the people are aware of it. And you will see it in the results that come out on June 4th. And today also, there's been a resounding turnout in different parts of the country for the voters. And I'm sure they're going to be voting responsibly and knowing fully well what the NDA government has to offer them for the next 10 years.
All right. Let me also go across to Manasvi Thapar, political analyst, who's also joining us live. Manasvi, as far as the point versus counterpoint that you just heard, you can of course also win. But there is this sense that it's the manifesto that the Congress believes people are connecting with, the poll promises that they're offering. How much do you believe the manifestos of each individual party actually weighs heavy on the minds of voters when they go to cast their vote? Is it more about individuals, or is it more about promises and issues in manifestos?
See, I don't think that people vote on manifestos. The manifestos was not the part and parcel of the initial early election. It only became popular after 70s or 80s.
Okay, I think we've lost Manasvi there. So people don't vote on the basis of manifestos. Direct counter to you, I guess, Anshuman. Your response?
See, I don't agree to this, Uday, that people don't vote on manifesto. People vote on manifesto if you have good things to offer. If Manasvi is back, you can hear him and then I can put forth my views.
Yes, Manasvi. Yeah, complete your point.
Yeah, Uday. So I think people don't read manifestos also, and most of the times it is not even the Karyakartas who read the manifesto. It is basically for the perception which has been made on an individual and party's ideology. And if people would have read the manifestos, people would not have voted BJP in power in 2019. Why do I say that? As 2014 manifesto, whatever BJP had written, they could not complete in 2019. And some of the parts of 2014 are still not completed. So people vote on the persona, on the ideology, and what is happening as of now. Manifestos are built that this is what we are going to do. How are we going to do? When are we going to do? Is something which is not there. Manifestos are something which cannot be quantified in terms of what you are going to do, what you are not going to do. That cannot be at all quantified. So manifestos are there. It gives a common minimum idea of what you want to do, what you can do when you come into power. Or what is happening is, in the manifesto war, which has not happened in the recent past of our elections in the recent past, is that for the first time that BJP is kind of twisting the manifesto of Congress. Why they got that opportunity was because of the Sam Pitroda statement which was made. And BJP knows this very well, that voters don't read manifesto. And that is why they arm twisted the entire narrative that the wealth would be distributed. While the reality is, in the manifesto, it is not at all written anywhere that wealth distribution will happen. If you do a control F and search, that wealth distribution together written anywhere in the Congress manifesto is not there. Only thing is, while BJP knows it very well that people are not going to read manifesto, they can play this around it. And the problem with the Congress is the war of perception and the war of presentation. Like when Vinita was speaking, what we could see is that in the last 10 years, so much was done. But what about the Congress? Congress cannot give that counter narrative that in the last 65 years, what they have done. So what happens is there is a counter war which is not. So what is happening right now with the BJP is, and the narrative BJP is trying to build up is that everything happened post 2014. Whatever before that was, nothing ever happened in the country. So this narrative has to be countered by the Congress, saying that these were the policies which we brought up. This was India where we were there and how we brought up India to the next level. That is not happening. So what is happening is today's influencers or today Twitter stars, what they do is they only believe because of the limited knowledge of 2014 onwards only. They don't know what happened in the past, and this narrative has to come from the Congress. Congress has to say that what we did in the country for the country. Obviously, any government will not be 100% okay with whatever they do, but something which they had done good, that's not the responsibility of you and me to say, but it is the Congress responsibility to bring out facts which were important for the country and where India is. For example, the UPI was something, the Aadhaar card was something which was brought by the Congress, but they didn't get the momentum because it was in the initial years. From 2010 to 13, it was building up. But BJP got that momentum, and now the entire digital finance is given to BJP's narrative. It was initially started by the Congress, but somehow that has fizzled out. So this is something which Congress has to come out, that this was something which we have built up, and the Congress. So what happens is, the base is built by anyone, any political party or any political leader could do. So what Prime Minister Narendra Modi is doing is on the base which was built by our ancestral prime ministers. And the future prime ministers will be building up on what Prime Minister Narendra Modi has built up. So it's a collaborative effort. So what is happening right now is, it's only one individual's efforts versus the other 13 prime ministers who has practically done nothing. That is the narrative. Okay. That cannot be a narrative in a country as strong as us.
Okay, of course, Rishi can respond to that. But I think Anshuman wanted to come in on your manifesto point earlier when we had lost you. Yes, Anshuman.
Yeah. So I don't believe that people don't vote on manifestos, right? And it's not about just the manifesto, just a document. It's about your entire vision document, your entire intent, right? You can see what our governments in the state in past few years have been doing, right? So in Karnataka last year, we gave 5 guarantees. And you should fact check what are we doing on those guarantees. How many guarantees we have implemented till now? What are the things that we have done? Are women getting 2,500 per month or not? Are women getting free bus tickets or not? Are the people getting free or not?
हो जाएगा.
This is something that one must understand. That the intent of the Congress, you can see. See, in Telangana, we formed government like 100 days back. We got 90 days, 100 days to work before the model code of conduct. And how many guarantees we have implemented? We have implemented Rajiv Arogyasri, in which we had promised 10 lakh rupees free, ilaj free, what do we say? I'm forgetting the exact word in English. I'm sorry for that. So yeah, and then we had promised 200 unit of free electricity. You can fact check that in April people have got zero electricity bill. In May they are going to get zero electricity bill. Who are consuming 200 unit of electricity per month? Women are getting free bus services in Telangana. They are getting free bus services there in Karnataka. So this is what we have been doing. And as far as Manasvi said, that Congress should come up and tell. So see, this country doesn't forget so easily. Just because we lost 2 elections doesn't mean that the people have forgotten what Congress has done all these years, right? So Congress, whatever has been built, started by the Congress, built by the Congress, and what Modi did. I was shocked by my BJP spokesperson Vinita saying that Modi ji has been taking care of the public sector undertakings and all that. So public sector undertakings, how can you even say that? A BJP person can't even talk, should not even talk about the public sector undertakings. PSUs, you have sold enough PSUs in last 10 years. You have been non-stop. You have been selling PSUs like Conquer, which was generating Container Corporation of India, which was generating profit. So you just don't have any sort of thing on that to speak, right? So, and then coming up to the Congress's manifesto, see, people know, and it's not just a document, it's what we are intending to do. We have given a job calendar. This is for the first time, Uday. This is for the first time.
Yes, 30 seconds, Rishi Bagri. And then I'll get in Chandni Preeti Shah is also joining us. 30 seconds, Rishi.
Yeah, what is You're giving them 5 minutes. You're giving me 30 seconds. This is what Nai is all about.
No, I can only give you 30 seconds because I need to get in the others as well.
I mean, this guy was saying that there was no such manifesto जिसमें कांग्रेस ने लिखा ही नहीं है कि सोशियो इकोनॉमिक सेंसस नहीं होगा पॉइंट 1 नंबर 1 में नंबर 7 में लिखा है कि they will establish an authority to monitor and distribution of the surplus land and other assets. In number 6 they are saying that minorities will receive a fair share of opportunity in public work contracts. Now, infrastructure works will be done according to looking at the religion. Because he is Muslim, he will get it. What kind of nonsense? What kind of nonsense you are talking? Listen. The problem is that you guys cannot tolerate truth. The problem is that you can't tolerate truth. No, you are a bloody liar. You are the problem. This is the reason why people are voting you out. Why people are kicking you out. This is the problem. This is the problem. Why people are kicking you out in your groin. That's the problem. You don't allow it. What problem is that you speak your term, but you don't allow to speak. You don't allow others to speak. Your problem here is intolerance है.
People are watching. After 10 years being in power, if this is what you are offering,
just shut up, yeah. You took your 5 minutes. You don't even allow to speak to other people. What you're talking about? You don't have a power. You don't have a capacity to listen to other people. We have listened to you for 5 minutes and you don't allow us to speak for 30 seconds. What kind of nonsense you are talking about? And we have tolerated enough. We have tolerated enough of the Congress.
Okay. Let me come in here. Let's be civil. No, let's be civil. Let's maintain some sanctity of this debate. Let's not make personal charges. Let's go across to Chandni Preeti Shah. Chandni Preeti Shah is also with us, political analyst. She's just joined the broadcast. Chandni Preeti Shah, you were hearing what the others have to say. Appeasement is one big issue that Rishi Bagri says. Of course, Anshuman Sale maintaining that the manifesto is what people do vote on this time around. Chandni, according to you, what are the issues that are resonating with the voters? And as far as the voting percentage is concerned, are you hopeful that it will rise in the second phase, unlike what we saw in the first phase?
Of course, Uday, I think the voting percentage will increase in the second phase as seen in the first phase compared to the first phase. Coming to what problems are being seen in this elections, I see a very big problem with the Congress manifesto, to be very honest. They have time and again been saying that we won't be redistributing the wealth, but their manifesto says otherwise, and this is exactly what they say in their point number 21, that we will address the growing inequality of wealth and income through suitable changes in policies. So if you are not bothered about the wealth, well, why mention it? Number one. Number two, Sam Pitroda, who was a close aide of Rajiv Gandhi, has reiterated on the same lines. Today morning, I heard Mr. Lokesh Jindal, who is also a spokesperson of Congress, reiterating on the same lines that if Congress is vouching for redistribution of wealth, which is constitutional according to Article 38 and 39, why is BJP opposing it? So I see a very different view inside the Congress itself on this point. Number two that I see is the distribution of, the blanket distribution of money that the Congress is promising, that is INR 1 lakh in account of one female per family. But where is the outlay? I do not see any outlay. How many females, how many families would be accommodated, for what period? Nothing. So there's no way to know the, economic burden that will be there on the country. Also, it is an unconditional cash transfer. There is no empowerment of women like the BJP does, in its schemes. The third I see is the caste census that they have promised. Now in 2011 also we saw that Congress did conduct caste census, but they did not publish it. I mean, they had ample amount of time until 2014. They were having the seat, but they did not publish it. The same happened in Karnataka. They did a caste census, but they did not publish it. So there is some flaw in the caste census for sure. So, there is a lot of talks in the manifesto of Congress, but very little promises. Whereas in BJP, yes, I agree with Manasvi when he says that, not all the promises have been fulfilled that were done in the BJP manifesto. But yes, a lot of them have been completed, and a lot of them have been, begun with. So what this election is all about, 2014 was about defeating the Congress mindset that the people had. 2019 was about Modi lair. 2024 will all be about, the 10 years of what Narendra Modi has done in the past 10 years.
Okay, it's going to be a report card of the Prime Minister that people will be voting on. Is that something you agree with, Vinita Hariharan? You believe that India has become a very presidential form of governance where people want to see the PM face and want to judge a person on their work done? The PM has his report card ready, says Chandni. What about the opposition? Do you believe that the opposition not having a face is something that is working to your advantage, Vinita Hariharan?
Yeah, absolutely. So, you always have to have a strong leadership without which, nothing is steered in the right direction. Whatever, be it a country, be it an organization, be it a group of people. So you need to have strong leadership, which is what is being, done through Brand Modi. And we have Modi ji leading the entire, NTA government and leading it from the front. And so, which we don't see in a very motley crew of parties, which they call themselves an India Alliance. So, what is India Alliance all about? Is something that India Alliance has to answer to the public. They fight in Kerala like arch rivals, and then they come together in Delhi, join hands, and talk about a Gathbandhan. So, this is something that the voters need to know. Being a responsible party or responsible alliance, you need to tell your voters what is India Alliance all about.
For more such videos, subscribe to the NewsX YouTube channel, hit the bell icon.